What if one light could cover all of my needs? For me, that's exactly what this light does. My main key light with colorful abilities, a bright output, and solid build quality. To be fully transparent, Godox did send me this light for free to showcase to you guys today. Speaking of today's video, you're gonna find out how to best use this to light some cinematic shots. And of course, I will show you some cool features that makes this light super handy. The most common way I will be using this light is as a key light. And if you don't know, a key light is essentially the main source of light that is hitting your subject in your shot. And right now, you can see that happening on my face. Without this key light on, the shot will look like this. So yeah, pretty big difference. A key light can be soft lighting, harsh lighting, or even colorful lighting. So for my YouTube videos like this, I simply just put a softbox on it and put it in front of my face for some lovely soft light. But for more meaningful cinematography, you can experiment with how you shape and angle your lights to produce different looks. Take a look at this for example. This is the same lighting setup, just at 3 different angles. See how it changes the shadows on the face? For example, if you want a more flattering, even look, then you can put the light straight in front of the subject at a slightly higher angle. To cast some more shadows on the face to create more depth, you want to set up your light at about a 45-degree angle compared to your subject. But if you want something even more dramatic, you can keep on going to a full side-on 90 degrees from the subject to create the split face effect. And because this light has 300 watts of input power, I can use this outside, even through some diffusion, to get a more direct, soft key light on my face. And once I pair that with some negative fill on the opposite side of my face, I have a way more dynamic looking image. I'm able to expose for the outside environment by bringing up the levels on my face, and then I can bring back some of that shape to my face by using that negative fill on the opposite side. But just because key lights are usually just a white light on your face, it doesn't mean you have to stick with that rule. Because like I said before, this is a fully RGB capable light. Meaning not only does it have a very wide bicolor range from a very warm 1800 Kelvin all the way to a very cool 10,000 Kelvin, but of course, you can change it to any color you like. And if you've watched one of my recent videos, you know how much color can help drive emotion in a scene. So what are some creative use cases I can use a light like this? Well, I'm gonna show you 3 right now. I love to emulate sunset and moonlight sort of looks in my videos. And this light makes it easier than ever to do that. Not only because of its RGB and bicolor capabilities, but also because of its output capacity. For example, I want to set up a sunset look coming through my window. So I set up the 300R on a stand and sent it to its maximum height to point through my window. And because it also has wireless app connection, I can adjust the settings while I'm inside the room in bed. So I set it to 2700 Kelvin to get a super warm sunset look. And this already looks pretty nice to me. One light with both power and flexibility. And once it's nighttime, I can simply put a lantern on it, rise it to the same spot pointing through my window, and adjust the color to something that looks a little bit more moonlighty. And in the app, there's actually a really good preset for this. So with basically the same setup, but different color, we now have a lovely nighttime aesthetic. Now is also probably a great time to show you the built-in effects this light has. Once again, from the app on my phone, I can change the entire scene. Now there's cops outside, or a fire burning, or lightning in a storm, or even a nuke going off. Sorry to my neighbors for all the flashing lights. My next setup is sort of going to replicate a creative studio environment. Because this light has a Bowens mount, I can basically use all the other modifiers that I already own because they're also Bowens mount. But instead of using my softbox or lantern, I am going to use my spotlight to project interesting, colorful patterns in my studio. So I created this shape with the spotlight and turned it red. And with that simple of a setup, I could create this really abstract shadow look. Then I swapped out the gobo for a different pattern, changed the color, and then again had a completely different style. Gobos and a spotlight paired with a colorful bright light like this can literally give you endless looks. I feel like I started to lose a bit of focus here. I don't know what I'm doing. Now going back to using the softbox with the light, I want to create more of a cleaner portrait look. So using this in combination with another RGB capable light, I can create a bunch of different colorful combinations to use together. This is a more natural warm key light but with a blue backlight. This is a bit more dramatic with a red key light with a green accent. And this blue and purple combo really gives a strong neon look. And then finally, a nice purple key light but with a warm backlight. My final setup is super simple, yet effective. If you don't particularly have as much time to get technical with the lighting, and you just need some pure ambient light to fill up the space, I often just point this thing to the roof or to the wall to bounce some light. And when I've used it like this, it usually creates a really soft wrap of ambient light to fill the space. In my kitchen, it is super dark even in daytime. All I need to do is bring in the 300R, turn it on, full blast, and point it to the ceiling. And then we get a super nice ambient light to fill the space. And now we're in my room, but my windows are overexposed. And once I expose for the windows, now the inside of my room is too dark. But once I use the 300R to bounce some light from the roof, it looks much better. Comparing this light to my other brightest light, the Ambient 200D, which is only a daylight balanced white light, the 300R seems to pretty much have the same output level as the Ambient 200D at that white daylight balanced color temperature. Except instead of just having a white light, you can change the color to anything you want. So that is an absolute win and automatically makes this light my new go-to light. On top of all the light quality stuff, the actual build quality of this is the best out of all my lights that I own. If you listen here closely, it's all metal housing, which just feels super high quality, premium, and durable, which is great to have considering this is gonna be my most used light. And with this form factor, if it's important to you, has DMX in and out ports for DMX controlling. I personally won't need that functionality, but if you do and you work in bigger productions that do require it, then it's pretty crazy that this light has that for this price. Another thing that I think is super underrated, but I really do appreciate, is the fact that it has built-in power. And that doesn't mean it has a built-in battery to run off of. It essentially means there is a power supply already built in there. So to power it, you only need one cable that you plug straight from power into that. No more annoying power supplies that just hang on the floor or have to dangle from the cable anyways. And even though other lights that do have an external power supply are a little bit smaller in size, I would personally rather have a bigger, chunkier light that has this built-in power rather than having to deal with a power supply on the floor. I don't know why that is, but it's just a quality of life thing. So yeah, I think that is everything I wanted to show you guys today about this light and what it can do. I think it's so awesome that lights like this are becoming more accessible and affordable for your everyday average creator or filmmaker. I think this light is a great all-rounder and definitely will cover most of my needs and probably a lot of your needs as well. But that's all from me for now. Like and subscribe, and I'll see ya when I see ya.